Hello there everybody. In today's video, this is Shotcut, and I'm going to show you how to do some um, color correction. You can see we have these tabs up here like logging, editing, FX, but then you also have color over here. You want to be in the color tab, and I have a couple of clips I threw in the timeline. Here's some flowers, and here is a log in the woods. So they're not really quite matched with each other color-wise. So we're gonna use the scopes over here. You know, you got your waveform, which just shows the luminance. This here, the vector scope, shows the color saturation, and then we're also going to be using the RGB parade, which has red, greens, and blues right here. So let's get started. I'm going to click the little, actually I'm going to click the clip to highlight it. And in the filters tab, if you don't have a filters tab, just click filters right here and it'll pop up. You want to click the little plus button and go to color grading, and here we are. Now when you're doing this, the goal is kind of to match certain points in the video to have them on the same level. Like it looks like the blues are kind of low because you have these points here with the reds and the greens, and the blues are just down here. So I'm going to try taking the highlights and I'm going to try bringing these up a bit. And I'm bringing them up for the blues, that is. So you can see now this is now down here, and so is the blue. Actually, you know, the blue is touching up there, so let's reset that. I'm going to try the midpoints, the midtones. And you see that's actually affecting the part that I was just discussing earlier. When I bring the midtones towards the blues, you can see the greens and the reds came down a bit. But this little section here for the blues is now more lined up with the reds and the green. And that's what I was going for here. And you can also see with the blues, it looks like for the blacks, the dark section, that the blues are kind of mashed down at the bottom a bit more. So I would want to take the shadows, which is this section here, maybe drag it to the left a bit to try to lower the blues a little bit. I want to try and get those to match as much as I can. Didn't really take much adjusting there. But now if I go to the waveform, you want everything to be within 100 or 0 RGB. So it looks like there might be some sections above 100. So if I go to the highlights and just click this slider up and down, you can lower and increase the RGB. The brightness of the clip. But I want the highlights to just barely touch 100. See, they're just touching it now. And the lows look like they're already touching the blacks, but we can try the lows and just see if we can get it a little bit better. Just drag that slider up and down. If you do it too much, you'll lift the blacks up off 0, but you don't want to do that. You want the blacks touching 0 if it's possible. Do it without mashing them together either. You know, generally with the midtones, which are going to be here, you want the midtones to be about 50 to 70, so about halfway up to a little bit more than halfway. So if I lift those midtones up, now the middle section here, the midtones are more towards 50, which is about where you want them. Of course, the blacks are also lifted off the line a bit more too, so I want to lower the blacks again. So you have to keep adjusting this. Now this clip is now, let's do it before and after. I mean, you see there's a lot more yellow in it before, but now it's a little bit more subdued, I suppose, with the color correction. And you can look at your vector scope here, and the way you use this is you want the line here, the bright line, to be touching these boxes or to be about level with these. And this clip, saturation-wise, is actually pretty good. I'm not going to adjust it at all. So now I'm going to go to the next clip. I'm putting the timeline over it. I'm going to highlight the clip, and I'm going to hit the plus button and click color grading. So now I'm back in the color grading here. And I want to go back to my RGB parade. And you see, I noticed this section here. So I want to try to match these sections. Here it is in the blues. It's matched with reds and greens, it's lows in the blues. And the blue is low. I'm going to go to the mid-tones, and I'm going to try dragging up on the blues there. That's going to lower that in the reds and the greens a bit. You can see now this little section here is now matched in all the clips. That's what I'm going to try to do. And it looks like highlight-wise, it looks like it already matches up here. And the same thing with the darks, with the blacks. So I'm going to leave those alone for now, and I'm going to go to the waveform. And again, we're going to do the same thing with the brightness slider for the highlights. I want them just barely touching 100, so let's just mess with it a little. Looks like they were already there. I don't really need to mess with it too much. So let's get them just at 100. It can be a little bit tough if you're using the mouse pad, a trackpad that is. You know, the mid-tones are here, they're a bit low, so I want to bump those up a bit, get them around 50 to 75. And now the blacks are lifted up off the line, so I'm going to go to shadows, I'm going to bring those back down. That way the black's touching 0 again. And now with this one, unlike the other one, you're going to notice in the Vetroscope, the colors are not really out there that much. So I want to increase the saturation of this clip. And to do that, I'm going to click the plus button, and I'm going to search for saturation right there. I'm going to add it. And I'm just going to increase this a bit and try to bring, so you notice when I do this, this is going to extend out. So I'm going to bring this out, and you can't do it too much because you'll blow the clip out. See, this is all, it's oversaturated now. It's breaking apart. As these little dots here start to spread out, it means that you're pixelating the clip. So you can only do it so much. So I'm going to bring the saturation back down. So here it is at 0 where it was originally. I'm going to bring it up as much as I can before I oversaturate that clip. And here's the finished product. Let's look at the RGB again. You see the reds are a bit high. So let's go back to color. Let's try to bring those blues up a little more. Try to even it out a bit. So let's take these off and see what it looked like originally. So here's the original clip, and the color corrected clip is here. Let's just see how it looks compared to this one. So we're trying to match these clips. We want them, these are taken from different cameras on different days. We want to try to get them to look as similar as we can, like they belong together more so. You know, I mean, dare I say, it's all in the eye of the beholder. I say those clips belong together. So you know, you try to match them up, try to find points in the clips that are the same in all the color patterns, and just try to match them up by dragging the wheels. Basically, that's the basics of it, and try to match the saturation. You know, with this clip, even since this clip has a lot of saturation, I could even lower it to try to match the other clip. So I put the saturation filter in, but instead of increasing it, I'm going to bring it down a little bit. If my trackpad would let me. There we go. So now I lowered the saturation a bit, and this will probably make it match the other clip a bit more, and it does. See that? See, now look at the RGB parade. Look right here. When I go back and forth from the clips, it's closer to the same level. In fact, this one needs to come down even more to really match that clip. So let's do that. Why not? Oh, well, I'm still in the... Okay, let's bring it back down. Okay, so let's leave it there. And then, you know, you go back and forth. It looks more like it belongs now. And that's the goal of color correcting it. So anyway, I hope that this tutorial helped you a little bit. This is with shotcuts with the latest version. And I'll be making more of these tutorials at some point. And subscribe to my channel, Matty Trips. I'll be on YouTube, probably Rumble and Odyssey as well. Anyway, have a good day.